Welcome to this explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to have you here today. If you're the kind of person who loves seeing how the biggest, most complex stories fit together, well, you are in the perfect place. Today, we're diving into the ultimate cosmic prologue of Greek mythology. Long before the legendary Trojan War and way before the mighty deeds of Heracles, there was a beginning. But as you'll soon see, this creation wasn't some peaceful let there be light moment. No way. It was a violent, surreal, and incredibly structured transition from absolute nothingness into a functioning universe.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Before the gods, before the stars, before time itself, there was only chaos. I really want to just drop you directly into that absolute void for a second. When we talk about creation in this mythos, we kind of have to strip away all our modern ideas of a gentle genesis. The birth of this universe was brutal. It was dark. And it was chaotic in the most literal sense of the word.
Section 1, the primordial void.
So imagine a gaping, yawning emptiness with absolutely zero form or function. To truly grasp this stark, atmospheric empty space that started literally everything, we have to understand a couple of foundational concepts. First up, theogony, which simply means the origin of the gods. And then there's a pairon, meaning the infinite. Now don't worry, these aren't just dry vocab words. They're the crucial philosophical keys that actually unlock the ancient Greek mindset. You know, when they looked up at the night sky or thought about the very beginning of time, they were trying to wrap their heads around the apeiron, this terrifying, boundless, infinite void. And from that infinite nothingness, the very first entities somehow emerged. First, there was chaos, which the Greeks essentially understood as a yawning gap. From that gap came Gaia, the earth. Then Tartarus, the deep, dark pit. And, crucially, Eros, representing love and procreation. The emergence of these specific forces matters so much because, well, it establishes the fundamental world building for this entire mythos. Everything that follows, every god, every monster, every single hero, they all trace their lineage back to this exact surreal moment of creation.
Section 2, the first emergence.
Now, what's really interesting about this timeline is how the narrative shifts from that initial formless void into something with a bit more shape. From Gaia, the Earth, we see the emergence of the sky, known as Uranus. And with the Earth and the sky combined, we get the establishment of the universe's very first cosmic rulers. Tracking this grand cosmic evolution is absolutely key so we never get lost in this super complex, tangled family tree. You can clearly see the progression here. We kick things off with the primordial age of chaos, Gaia and Uranus. Power then shifts over to the Titan age, ruled by figures like Cronus and Rhea. And finally, it lands in the Olympian age, ruled by Zeus and Poseidon.
Section 3, the great betrayal.
But wait, how exactly does power actually transition from one age to the next? Well, let me tell you, it's rarely peaceful. Before we look at the violence itself, we need to understand the catalyst for it all: hubris. This is excessive pride or dangerous overconfidence. This whole concept of dangerous pride is deeply, inextricably connected to the actions of these early divine rulers. They fully believed their power was absolute and permanent. But, as we'll see, this exact hubris inevitably leads to their spectacular, universe-shattering downfalls. Because the creation of this universe, it is entirely defined by brutal, escalating acts of cosmic violence, specifically children overthrowing their parents. It starts with the sky Uranus, who is violently castrated and overthrown by his own son, Cronus. Yeah, pretty intense for the first act of true cosmic violence. But because of his hubris, Cronus actually thinks he can escape fate. Spoiler alert, he can't. Cronus is eventually overthrown by his son Zeus. So we really shouldn't just read this as a dry list of historical facts. It is a chilling generational curse that dictates the entire flow of time and power.
Section 4, the Titanomachy War.
And this brilliantly illustrates exactly what was at stake here. This generational curse reaches its absolute peak with the Titanomachy. This was the epic, world-shattering final war between the reigning Titans and the rising Olympians. We literally have pure chaos, the violent, empty nothingness that the universe began as, clashing directly with cosmos, the structured, organized order. The Titanomachy wasn't just a simple battle for a throne. It was the definitive transition of the universe from a terrifying void into an organized cosmic hierarchy under the Olympian gods.
Section 5, order from chaos.
So, as the dust settles from that massive generational war, let's take a look at the aftermath. When synthesizing everything we've learned, it's actually amazing how logical and structured the seemingly chaotic mythos is when you map it out. In the first generation, we have the primordials, led by Uranus, whose era concludes when he's violently deposed by Cronus. Then we move to the Titans, led by Cronus, who is in turn deposed by Zeus. And finally, we reach the Olympians, with Zeus sitting as the current ruler. The cosmos has at long last been ordered.
And notice how this foundational human story crosses borders. Bago ang mga Diyos, bago ang mga bituin, bago ang panahon, mayroong lamang chaos. This Filipino translation of our opening hook really highlights the incredible global appeal of this mythos. This sweeping epic of creation, of absolute nothingness becoming something, is such a foundational human story that it resonates across languages, borders, and cultures.
Let's bring it all together and see how this builds our final picture. The path to order was taken through precise, ruthless steps. Step 1, the reign of Uranus ends in betrayal. Step 2, the reign of Cronus ends in total war. And step 3, Zeus ultimately claims the throne of the cosmos. Order is achieved, for sure, but at a massive, massive cost. But you have to remember this. The war for the universe ended with Zeus on the throne, but his true problems were honestly only just beginning. If there is one single thing you take away from this explainer today, let it be this. A happy ending in ancient Greek mythology is almost always just a brief, temporary pause before the next monumental disaster strikes. The cosmos is structured, yes, but the board is now set for a whole new era of drama.
Which leaves us with a final, very provocative question. What happens when the ruler of the universe inherits the legacy defined by children overthrowing their parents? Zeus is now in charge, but the cycle of violence, the hubris, the generational curse we track today is woven into the very fabric of the cosmos he now rules. It's a fascinating cliffhanger, isn't it? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer today. I really hope this helped illuminate the dark void of chaos and the brilliant, brutal dawn of the cosmos. Until next time, keep seeking order in the chaos.